Hello, everybody. How's it going? Today I have a special guest with me. This is Henry.
Howdy.
Hello, howdy. Yee. You guys have seen him in videos like way in the past in college, but you have not been on this channel in a long time, so yes. But with it being Pride Month, I did want to take the AdSense from this video, donate it to a good cause, also a cause that's still focused on racial justice. I have chosen the nonprofit TGI Justice, which is a group of transgender, gender variant, intersex people inside and outside of prisons, jails, and detention centers, just kind of helping them out on their journey to freedom. So yeah, I'm going to donate my AdSense. I'm also probably going to make a personal donation. Gonna leave the link down below if you guys want to donate as well. But with that being said, I've got a spread here of skin prep, makeup, lip, eye, all the good things. So yeah, basically we'll go through this routine. This is my morning routine, but Henry's doing it however he sees fit. Maybe you don't like how I do my makeup and you want to
yeah, we'll see.
You want to switch it up. And then also you guys asked questions on my Instagram stories when I asked for them. So thank you for that. And I'm going to answer those as we go along, basically. All right, skin prep. Let's go ahead and start with that. What do you want me to tell you? Do you want any hints or...
Just, I don't want to walk down the wrong road.
Okay.
So if I'm walking down that wrong road, steer me clear of it.
Okay.
But otherwise, I think I'm just going to hop in.
Okay.
Serum. Okay, so that's something you've talked about. Serum is among the good stuff.
Yeah.
Face serum, face moisturizer, sunscreen. I think sunscreen will go on last. That's what I think I see you do last. Okay, we got a little Alder, New York. Isn't this what the beauty folks do? I'm sure it's already focused, but got a little everyday face moisturizer. So we're going to start with some of this.
So as you're applying that, a lot of people asked this question. I think it's a good place to start. How did we meet and how long have we been together?
Well, we met on Tinder. People who have been following Tara's channel for a long time, I think, knew that.
Yep.
But yeah, just a classic swipe right. Here we are.
Modern love.
Is this enough?
Yes.
Too much?
No, it's good, actually. And then, yeah, in terms of how long we've been together, it's been like 3.5 years. It'll be 4 years in November.
It's crazy to think.
I know, right?
Turn your face.
Okay. How do you feel about it? I'm always like yelling at you. I'm like, Henry, can you wash my face? Can you do my skincare? And you're like, no. And I tricked you.
Yeah. You were just really lazy today, and you're like, I'm not doing this shit.
Exactly.
Let's film. Well, I think for the most part, the shit is worked in. I maybe did a little thick on your cheeks.
That's okay. They're having kind of a weird allergic reaction right now, or they're like kind of dry, so probably the more moisture, the better.
I think I'm going to do a serum.
Okay.
I might just keep it with Alder, New York, although Tara is a Glossier bench, so you know she got that super bounce on deck.
Boom, 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 boom. Got that super bounce.
Okay, so we got a little serum here.
Okay.
Also from Alder, New York.
Yes, which actually I'm also an affiliate for, so I will link that link down below.
And this is just one pump, because this seems a little more viscous. Just attacking the eyes, because that's all I know about skincare. Wow. Your skin feels like that, like, jelly candy. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it comes in like a...
Right, you're like,
little,
like
yeah,
that.
Exactly. They're like individually packaged.
Of course, Rainier, my gal, you always ask so many questions, so many good ones. I think this is my favorite question you asked. What's your favorite meal to have / cook together? I think I know.
Okay, go for it. I gotta think about it.
And I could be jumping the gun because we've only done it as of last week. It's the tofu.
That's, I mean, the recent fave.
Yes. I can actually insert a picture here because I think I took one. Spicy, like Korean inspired, I would say, tofu. Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's fried.
Yeah, double fried. Shout out to Manji.
True, yeah.
This isn't necessarily something we cook, but a restaurant from our college town, Ames, Iowa, Abelardo's, we used to just kind of both get like a main sort of meal. For me, that was a burrito, but then we always get a little chips, cheese, that like green sort of guacamole hot sauce, and then obviously some refried beans, so that was obviously a snack.
So good.
A great
24
meal.
hours they are open if you live in Ames, Iowa, or just Des Moines, but the Ames one is the best.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So what is this section I'm looking at here? This is like powders and shit.
Do you think you're done with the skin prep though?
Yes.
Perhaps a hint. My lips are real dry.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if this was going on now or later, but we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and throw some of this on now.
I tried to, like I said, put things in rough order.
Okay, sure. So we're doing a little Burt's Bees You know him, you love him.
Classic.
Since this is like a roll on, I'm going to just have you roll that bitch on.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, while I do that, let's see what else we've got here. Rainier also asked, Henry, how many tattoos do you have? And then she also asked if I want any tattoos. Sorry, I put a lot of that on.
Sorry, I'll put some on here as well. It's drying here in Colorado.
It's true. That's also why my skin is freaking out.
In terms of number, I kind of stopped counting a while back, but I'm probably around 20-ish.
Yeah. And in terms of if I want any, probs not. I already have like a bit of a phobia of needles. I can like hold it together to like get my ear piercings, but beyond that, I don't think I'm trying to sit there and get stabbed for like several hours.
Yeah, it's a slog. And you do have a lot of piercings, actually, which is still more than the average person might be willing to endure. So I think you're tougher than you think, but tattoo needles are a different story for sure.
That's true, yeah. Sid, you asked, how have you both been doing? How has quarantining together been? Because we weren't quarantining together at the start of all of this. So anyway, that's the question. But before we answer that, I've got some, oh my goodness, I've got some concealers here. I don't wear concealer every single day, but perhaps I do. I also have a darker concealer that if you feel crazy and feel like contouring.
I don't.
Okay, all right. A couple different shades. Lighter one for areas perhaps you'd want to highlight. This one for like blemishes. And then these are just a couple of different powders to set that when you're done. If you so choose to do this. Because some days, honestly, I'll toss on moisturizer, SPF, which you didn't do, but that's okay. And then I might just call it good. And then do some other steps that I won't disclose yet.
Right.
And I don't necessarily always do concealer and powder anymore. But if you want to, if you're feeling crazy.
I think we're skipping the concealer today.
Okay.
But we'll just set those prods to the side. So we'll move right along.
He just like moves so many products off of this. Okay. Some days I might do eyeshadow. I think it's pretty obvious I don't do that often.
That is right. It is pretty obvious.
So do you want to do eyeshadow?
I think that's something also we're going to skip today. We're doing a real simple look, the no makeup look today.
That is my look.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like I might have to force you to do a challenge because you're skipping some challenges here.
All right.
So a classic Tara look, the look that you knew when you met me in college was winged eyeliner.
Right. I can get in there.
I feel like I want to see your winged eyeliner attempt.
Sure.
Okay, so these are a couple of different winged eyeliners. You can pick your weapon. Glossier, Ilia. The only difference between them for you guys at home, the Glossier one is more of a brush tip, whereas the Ilia one is more of a felt tip. So how do you feel? Is one calling your name?
Probably the felt tip.
Okay, so yeah, quarantining.
You know, it's been all right. I think we're both very, very fortunate to still be employed and still be able to report for work Monday through Friday. A luxury not a lot of people have right now. So in that regard, it's going as great as it can. Interpersonally, you know, we're kind of just chilling. I still go into my office to do my work.
Yeah.
So we're still away during the day. I think that helps kind of add some separation to our day. We're both kind of independent people.
Just to kind of fly through some other questions that I remember were asked. Some people were like, how has quarantining been like when we weren't together? And I think that also feeds into like, you know, how have we managed having like a long distance relationship and things like that. And honestly, like you kind of just said, Henry, like you still have had to go in. I still have my job. So like that keeps us pretty focused most days, whether we're together or not. And then beyond that, I just feel like we were talking on the phone a lot more than we usually do. But even still, in terms of a long distance relationship tip, it's pretty obvious. People always say it, but just communication is key. And I think that's always been something just that our relationship is really built upon. Like communication in a serious sense, but also we're just like super chatty people, and phone calls are like
for sure
kind of they have been up until this point enough to sustain us because we were basically long distance for like almost 2 years after college now, and then in college it was like 5 months when I was studying abroad, a summer when you were interning abroad. So like our whole relationship of almost 4 years has been like off and on long distance. And I think that just comes down to making time to chat with each other. And when we do chat with each other, like we'll play weird little like games or like the Starters podcast that you listen to.
Oh, sure. Shout out to No Dunks.
Yes. Or they
they'll kind of just, you know, draft perfect sandwich or what are some of the
time capsule
like a
of
90s,
the 90s.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So yeah, we'll like hear it on the podcast, listen to the podcast individually, and come together and be like, all right, so like what's your 90s time capsule? And then we'll just have like a goof and a gaff on the phone chatting with each other. So it's kind of like we're just hanging out, but over the phone.
Yeah.
And now that we're here together, I guess we don't do that as much, but we've been watching a lot of Monk, which is...
We've been flying through Monk.
Yes. What was your favorite date? You hate it already?
Come back.
Okay. Hey.
Your eyelids are going to be all black. I'll just be like, let me just clean up that top line.
And this side, let me balance it out. Oh, let me balance it. And then before we know, it's like up here.
It's exactly right. Do you want me to talk about my favorite date?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I lived in D.C., you and I went to one of the Smithsonian art museums, and we were just kind of walking through, and I think they had an Alex Calder, who does the mobiles, and we were just kind of bipping and bopping around over there, happened to walk into this section with a lot of vertical mobiles, and mobiles, I don't know if I'm saying that wrong, sorry art folks, and there was someone in the gallery and was like, hey, we're just kind of doing this thing, this kind of study where you look at the shapes and kind of don't look at the page or whatever. So anyways, you and I just sat and drew for maybe 15-20 minutes in silence and just kind of looked at the shapes and took a second to stop and look at Alex Calder's art. So that was one of my favorite dates. Just kind of hanging out at the art museum, doing a little bit of art. I'm not necessarily a artist myself. Tara's a bit more of the illustrator, but nevertheless had a really enjoyable time.
Right.
Oh, God.
Good?
No. It's so hard to get a straight line, like a consistent line.
And you know what? If you're not happy with your work, you can also... Yes. I just wanted to give you a challenge because I felt like you were like, no concealer, no powder. I do have to show the people, though.
It's so... It's hard to make a straight line. I was, like, trying to get a little brush going, and then just, like, chunked out on me. And so, obviously, I want to, reel it in a little bit. I don't know if you have a little makeup remover if we're just stuck with that.
No, we don't have to be stuck with this. Let's get a Q-tip. This will be creepy, but I'm mic'd up so y'all can hear me as I walk over here. I was going to say my favorite date is when you and I went to Ada Hayden, is at the lake, right, in Ames?
That's right.
And, you were mentioning earlier, Abelardos is amazing. So, yeah, we went there, got some Abelardos. I just remember, we were listening to Japan Droids, but my phone died, but we didn't really care. We were just sitting by the water, having a good time.
I think there's a common denominator between our, best dates, and that's just, staying a little bit away from the phone, just kind of focusing on each other, not worried about what's going on in the world, what's going on with the clock, just kind of lost in it all, Do
you sometimes feel discredited in the Black Lives Matter movement because your boyfriend is white?
I'm white.
Good question. I think I know who I am. I know that I've experienced many microaggression in my life, and I work to be actively anti-racist because I don't want other gals like myself or other folks out there to feel the same things I've experienced. And if I'm being honest, none of that has anything to do with my relationship with you.
Yeah, sorry, you're talking about something so serious.
No, it's okay.
This is not going well.
And like I said, we can wipe away this wing and you can be like, never mind, I don't want that to be part of the makeup.
Let's just not do wing.
Anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, none of that has anything to do with my relationship, if we're being honest. I'm my own person. Henry, you're your own person.
You've just done so much, especially as of late. So for anyone to look at that and try to invalidate all that you've done, just kind of seems like a joke to me. Not a lot of people doing what Tara's doing, so...
Well, I'm not even doing so much,
You're
but
right.
Still, none of that has to do with my relationship. So that's how I feel. Fave concert you've been to? Well, actually, this is 3 questions in one. Fave concert you've been to? Fave thing about one another? Dream living location? So yeah, we'll start with fave concert. If we're talking about fave concert with you and I actually haven't been to a lot of concerts together.
That's right.
So I think the Vampire Weekend show, the last time I was in Colorado, was the best show that we've been to together.
Yeah, it was great. Good little story there. Shout out to Ron from the Colorado Sound, who gave us those tickets.
Hey.
My first week in Colorado.
There you go.
Yom Kippur, I was waiting to break fast, so we were waiting for the sun to set. Wind was whipping around those mountains, so they couldn't let us in. We weren't sure if Vampire Weekend was going to go on.
Yeah.
and ended up being a great little night.
Yeah, although it did shift from being like 70 degrees kind of during the day to all those winds, and then when the show finally happened, like almost an hour late or something when we got in, then it started like freezing rain while we were in there too. So it was like 30 degrees, freezing rain. But Vampire Weekend played a stellar show. Soccer Mommy opened, who I also love, and also Vampire Weekend played like way past even their encore. Like they were like, we've got the venue till 11, we're gonna play. Granted, we didn't stay because we were freezing.
Right, we left a couple songs, but I think I looked at the set list, we only missed like 2 or 3 tracks.
Yeah,
but yeah, Vampire Weekend's like, yo, we're closing this shit down, like y'all stuck around, so we see you.
Yep.
So before we started dating, we went to a show. Both of us went to the show, but not together.
Yeah.
St. Lucia.
Yeah.
And that was actually a really, really great show. That was a phenomenal show.
We've seen Portugal the Man together.
Oh, yeah, the Portugal the Man show. That was a good one.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, I feel like because Portugal the Man would have been like the last hurrah before we graduated and went out into the world. Because
again, Henry and I have spent most of our relationship together but apart, and so I know like some folks I've talked to in my life have been like, you don't go to that many movies together, concerts together. Well, it's like, yeah, because we're always in like different cities. We're seeing a lot of stuff, doing a lot of stuff, but not always together.
Right. And I think you and I are both fans of like going to shows alone. A lot of people don't necessarily feel comfortable doing that or aren't super into that for whatever reason, but I am and you are, and so
and going to movies alone.
Right. And so we've never let being apart stop us from doing the things we enjoy. So I still go to shows, Tara still goes to shows, of course, not during these times.
No.
But it's never really held us back in the past. So.
No. Well, and also it's like when The Lighthouse came out, it's like both of us were like racing to get to the theater on our own to see it so we could talk about it together, or Parasite or Midsummer, like
Uncut Gems
saw separately but together in a way.
Oh, and we're always hopping on that phone like
immediately.
Like, oh, what'd you think about that?
Yeah.
Like, what'd you think of this?
Midsummer was a weird one to see solo though.
Fave quality about each other.
Yes. I think what I like about you, Henry, or at least my favorite trait about you, is you keep me positive. So generally speaking, I guess I would say that trait about you I like is that you're just generally a pretty positive person. I have a tendency to rant, which is fun and fine sometimes, but I think especially since I've been with you, I really don't complain or gossip as much as I did like when I was in like high school or college, for example.
You literally look so broke. And it's me, but we just gotta stop.
At this point in time, I would do mascara. Do you want to try to do mascara on me?
Sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah, between these two, I would say we've got a little Ilia and Glossier here. Sorry.
Let's do an all Ilia eye.
Okay.
I would say one of my favorite qualities about you, Tara, is that you've taught me so much about the world of fashion, what we're doing right now, makeup, beauty, industry, general, skincare, because it's a world I didn't know a lot about, but in many ways it pays to just know a little bit, and you're always very gracious with your knowledge.
Sure. I
remember there was a time we were sitting around, I think you spent like 20 minutes explaining the difference between like knits and wovens and how you can tell, and that rarely comes up for me, but you've always been very gracious with your time, so I think in terms of like teaching, you're pretty patient, and that's something I appreciate as someone who likes to learn. Do I do the bottom lashes?
Only if you want to.
Well, let me just get a little bit on there. They're looking a little...
Oh yeah, fun one. Dream living location. Not America. I mean, of course I'm partial to Copenhagen. I can't help it. But I would also say like Amsterdam. Just because it's quite similar to Copenhagen. They've got their maybe politics figured out a little bit more than this country does in terms of sustainability, in terms of like city infrastructure. We can bike everywhere. Weather's a little bit more moderate.
Huge.
Lots of water, lots of boats.
Right. So yeah,
Henry likes boats.
I think my dream location is not necessarily like a city, but maybe somewhere along the Mediterranean. Some sort of coastal living, could be like, maybe not necessarily into the East Coast coastal thing, like the Meet Me in Montauk thing, but along the Great Lakes perhaps. Little boat life, living by the water life.
Even in America?
I'm less into America at this point in my life. I would like to live elsewhere. But thankfully, the globe is covered in water, so there's so many options. Honestly, Korea would be amazing. Korea is so beautiful. And honestly, that region of the world is very great for a lot of different reasons. So, pretty open.
Cool.
As long as I'm moving with you, gal.
Another question, and then we'll move into eyebrows.
I'm ready.
Okay. Eyebrows shouldn't be as hard.
All I know is they're sisters and not twins.
Hey, okay. Have you faced any hardship / backlash in public for dating interracially? So here are all of the different brow products. Spoiler, you'll probably have to use this at least. This is a little brow pencil.
And that'll help me get the outline?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Outline, maybe fill in some bald spots, because I've certainly got those. And then these are all different brow gels, so this will kind of fluff up the hairs, maybe add a little bit more color. Do you maybe want to take your pick?
Well, I'm perhaps most familiar with our good friend, the boy brow.
It's true.
Every now and then I use this on my mustache to pop it up, so real tip there if you're into popping your mustache.
There you go.
So we'll do a little boy brow.
Cool. Do you want to read what this product is?
It has a little baby hair.
Yes, this is, actually got the, why are you laughing already?
That's all, this is a little baby hair. That's it, that's a baby hair.
I think I actually took off the cap that says, this is from Uma Beauty, black-owned brand. I'm trying out some lovely black-owned beauty at the moment, so yeah, this is a product that's pretty new to me, but so far, so good.
So have you faced any backlash?
Not directly, but I've definitely mentioned to you that, you know, I'll actually don't use Facebook a lot anymore, just because I feel like that crowd is rough. I've definitely scrolled past like articles that folks that I went to high school or college with, you know, they'll post things like any interracial relationship is based on fetish, which I find very gross. Not only because I'm with you, Henry, but like my parents are an interracial couple, therefore my entire existence is like what? Like trash in that person's eyes. So that's like very, very hurtful to stumble across stuff like that. But honestly, I've unfollowed folks with those views. Did you already mess up?
No, you're just gonna hate these. I haven't like messed up, but they do not look good. So, it really hasn't come up for me either. A lot of my childhood friends growing up, we're kind of like all in interracial relationships, so it's a little more normalized in my circle, perhaps. You know, every now and then, like at a party, if, say, you and I were together and you walked away, somebody might comment like, oh, you're with like a black girl. And that always obviously doesn't sit right with me. But I personally, like, it's not like that has negatively impacted my life. I'm still like happy with you. I know they're just stupid and whatever. So
how do you resolve conflicts if they come up? I know a couple of people ask questions kind of like this, so I hope that this will help answer those questions. Depends kind of on the conflict. I think sometimes it's important to talk things out right in the moment.
You have to be willing to communicate. You know, a lot of where maybe my ideas come from and how we're going to deal with our issues is stuff I've heard from my therapist, using a lot of I statements.
Yeah.
Talking about actions and the way they made you feel. So keeping the conversation focused on you can, I think, take away some of the tension of like, you do that, you do this.
Yep.
So we try to keep it focused on ourselves.
More just how, you know, I feel as though XYZ.
And we do have big disagreements. That still happens. We're not like a perfect relationship, and sometimes they can be pretty strong disagreements where you and I don't see eye to eye on something, but also the willingness to know that we're different people and that we don't need to see eye to eye on everything. And I think that comes from a place of mutual respect, mutual love. Like I really do love Tara down to her bones. So
don't you want to come with me? Got a copyright flag.
Hey, right. Shout out to the Killers. No, Brandon Flowers got that Mr. Brightside money. He doesn't need this.
Right. He's like flipping through the copyright claims. He's like, that one's okay.
Right. So yeah, I would just say like be willing to communicate, be willing to look internally, because I think oftentimes you're looking for the problem in the other person in this any sort of interpersonal communication. Just try to find that problem with yourself. Usually you can kind of solve it by like, oh, I'm telling myself this story, but that's not evidence-based. Yeah. You know, Tara's thinking this, but I have to stop and say, why do I think she's thinking that? Did she tell me? So just being quite literal. Listening to your partner is another big one.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
But anyways, that all boils down to just the willingness to communicate. You got to be willing to put in the work, I think.
Yes. Well, and also just, I guess another thing too, and then we can move on to the next question, but I've even started to kind of recognize like when certain battles actually aren't even really worth fighting, when it's really something so small that like it's like, do I need to make a comment on this thing, where previously I would have, because maybe I had it twisted like communication, need to communicate, and you do, but Also, sometimes it's like, just don't sweat all of the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do that, and it's like 5 minutes later, you forget about it. You feel good with the brows. You're done with the brows. Yep, you're done with the brows. So then we'll move into the cheeks. We've got some just like blush color kind of products. This is like a bronzer or blush. And then we've got, this is more of a highlight. And these are highlights as well. How are you feeling? Are you thinking, you know, some sort of like colorful blush situation?
Your eyebrows just look so uneven. Like, y'all know Tara, so like her shit's like on point like every single time. But just looking at her now and just like, who did this to you? And it's me. That's the problem.
And since I can't like see distance, I can't see what's in the camera, so I don't know.
Let's keep it a little more neutral, a little more earth tone, a little more skin tone.
Okay. For those curious, this is a Kosas Tropic Equinox Color and Light Cream in high intensity. But basically, you just kind of like dab your finger in it. Oh, I just gotta look at that eyeliner. You're gonna put your finger in it, dot it on the apples, as we say, and then just kind of blend it out.
Okay. Is that like too much, too little?
Remember, this is actually kind of like cooking. Okay. You can always
add more
salt.
Take it away.
You can't take away. Yeah.
Exactly.
How about we do a little highlight?
Okay.
Do you want to do the highlight from this palette, or do you want to use a Glossier one?
Let's keep it Kosas.
Okay. Curious to hear about what he does with NPR.
Oh, sure. So I no longer work for National Public Radio. I used to.
Yeah.
But now I work at an NPR member station, so it's just locally focused. That's a part of like the NPR network is the way to explain it. So still generally doing public radio things, but now in a local capacity.
Yeah.
I host a local news program. What I used to do for NPR, I was a Croc Fellow. So if you're interested in that, shoot me. Well, I don't know. Get a hold of Tara, whatever. But I was a Croc Fellow at NPR. That's what I did.
Yes. That's pretty much all the questions, if I'm being honest. So let's just go ahead. Finish strong with a lip product. This is the biggest category, and I think you should challenge yourself to use 2.
Okay.
So basically we've got some opaque kind of things, like more like lipsticks, a lip liner, and then I would top it off with some sort of lip gloss.
Okay. We'll keep it mented on this guy. So let's do a little lip line. Well, do you just have any general other questions? Any other topics you'd like to broach?
What do you want to eat later today?
Good question. I cooked some bulgogi, and so I probably need to eat that up. We do have some of that double fried tofu, which at this point we kind of just pop back in a little Earl and get going on this stuff.
Yes, sorry.
We'll keep it mented. My guts may be telling me to go this guy, but we'll just mix it up. Okay. We'll go against the gut.
Okay. For anyone curious, this is Correlation from Mented. New gloss that I just got from them recently. Well, I bought it, but yeah. I smell like fried chicken. Do you smell that?
Yes, I think the people below me must be frying something. Ooh, actually it smells really good. Which is kind of a shocker from the folks downstairs, if I'm being honest.
Hey.
Just can't see a lot of spice in that kitchen, if you know what I'm saying. All right, well, that's that.
Is this the finished look? All right. I think I'm ready for the reveal.
A little live react here.
Mm-hmm. The brows are certainly interesting. We'll start with that. This brow is actually quite good.
Sisters, not twins.
In fact, they might just be neighbors.
Or maybe they've got different folks. But hey, sisters through and through.
Like half sisters.
We're kind of like the sisterhood of the traveling pants, not...
So they're just friends. They're just friends.
But your eyebrows share the same pair of pants and they fit perfectly no matter what, so...
So yeah, this liner, I think you did better. In general, I think just my left side of the face, I feel...
Yeah.
Was your strongest work. So anyway, excellent work, Conroe, for a first attempt. Mm-hmm. Thanks for coming on the channel.
Anytime.
I'm sure everyone was excited to have you. People have been asking for you.
Who? It's my alt account. I'm getting on burner. Where's Henry?
Right, exactly. Who? It's me. And thanks guys for watching. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.